Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Just don't move any further south.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You won't last, man. The heat gets you too bad.
No, you can't go any further.
Man, I appreciate you guys coming on today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to the Mishaps. You want to introduce yourselves? Look right here and tell us who you are, what you do.
Start. You want me to start? So my name is Dylan Leslie. I play Doyle, so I play guitar in the band, and I sing a couple of songs. Depends on the song, though, but that's what I do.
What'd you say your name was?
Dylan.
Dylan. It sounded like you said something different.
Well, he said he plays Doyle.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm Dylan. I play Doyle. Both
Okay.
start with D. It's confusing. We called me Doylan for the longest time in rehearsals.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm Duncan. I play drums. I don't have a character. Well, I play my own character, but
He's Duncan. What do you mean?
He's Duncan.
You play Duncan.
could
you play
be.
the drums, but yeah. So I'm AJ, and I get to be Danzig, and you know. So
How fun has that been for you?
fun, man. Awesome. You know, It is cool. It's cool. You know, I mean, especially as a bald guy to get to wear the wig, like it's like at least 30 minutes of feeling pretty good about myself. So,
I mean, seeing you in that wig for the first time was interesting.
well, so I had a few friends walk by me last time we had a gig, and my buddy Justin's like, man, I didn't even know it was you. So he's like, I got up really close. And I still don't think he did until I started singing to my mom or whatever. He had met my mom. So he's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah, So I was like, dude, and that was like the next to last song we did. So I was like, it took you that long to figure that out?
Yeah.
It's like, who else has shoulders like these, So yeah, it's a fun thing. It's I love Danzig. I love the Misfits. I grew up on stuff like Elvis. So, it's kind of cool to, step into that character for, one night. I don't know. I like it.
Whose idea was this?
He's not here today.
It's not here. It was Matt's, the original bass player.
He's back again. He'll be here June 1st.
But, yeah.
That's right. You can see the Mishaps.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah. So for those who don't already know, the Mishaps are a Danzig / Misfits tribute.
Yes.
And they'll be here Saturday, July 1st. Or June. God damn it. I can't talk today. Today.
We're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah, Saturday, June 1st. You can catch them here. We got Midnight Massacres on that bill.
Yep.
Who else is on that?
Emporia and the White Horse.
The White Horse.
Okay.
You know what? I just realized the Misfits tribute will be playing after the Misfit Market.
Oh, that was a good
June 1st,
plug.
and it was like,
That was a nice plug.
There we go.
Nice plug, Ariel.
I mean,
well
There
done.
we go.
I did it last night.
So you could spend a whole day here. Come here and shop the Misfit Market
Misfit
between
Market.
11 and 4.
Yeah.
Go get some dinner, come back for the Mishaps. We're going to have a
Exactly.
lot of fun.
That is great.
Midnight Massacre was just here a couple weeks ago, and it was my first time seeing them, and I was really impressed. Those guys are
cool.
great on stage.
They are. They have some of the horror influences and stuff like that, and just a really good rock and roll band, man.
Yeah, and then the White Horse, they've been just grinding, man. They're popping up on shows everywhere.
Yeah.
They got a show here every month for like 4 or 5 months in a row. They've like jumped onto bills and stuff. Those kids are working it.
Yeah, they are. They're nice too.
Yeah. And then Emporia, this will be my first time seeing them. Where are those guys out of?
so a lot of them are over they go up to Berkeley College. So I think most of them are up there, and the singers down here. So I think they all record and just send to each other, and that's how they're putting out their music. And then I think during the summer they just come down here and play as many shows as they can.
Okay.
But I mean, I played a show with my old band last year with them, and they were incredible.
Yeah.
like great musicians. And so when we needed another band, I just reached out to them, and they were completely down for it. So
I'm looking forward to seeing them, man. That'll be fun.
That's it. You know.
So go back to the beginning. You said your original bass player. This was his idea. How did it kind of come together?
Man, it was a Facebook post.
Really?
Yeah,
It was.
because someone ended up having to drop off of, it was the Headbangers Ball, the one at Halloween last year.
Yeah, last October.
And Matt commented something and said, "Oh, you should do something with the Misfits," and then AJ tagged me in it, and I was just recently out of a band, and so he knew I was free, and I was like, "Well, hell, I like the Misfits, let's go!" And then we needed a drummer, and I called him.
Yeah,
Called Duncan.
it came together really fast.
It
too.
did.
I mean, I think before that first show we played, we rehearsed
4 practices.
4 times, I think.
within that week of him texting me, they were at my house the next week,
Yep.
playing in my living room. And 4 practices, and we came here and thought it was just probably gonna be one show, and then we.
And then it evolved.
Yeah,
we're
it
here.
went really good. That,
No, I'm glad to see it, man. I'm glad to see it taking off. It's a weird thing because I've talked to a lot of the guys in this market that do tributes, and then I've even watched. You're the second like new tribute that's started since we opened. The first was the Red Hot Chili Dogs.
Oh yeah.
And they,
Yes.
they reached out. Well, Emily reached out and said that I'm doing this thing, and she's like, I'm playing Flea in a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute, and I was like, well, that makes sense. Yeah, who better than
Who
Emily?
better?
Oh,
Yeah,
she's so good.
Right?
Yeah, and so we put them on a show, and everybody's got their own individual original bands, and it's funny because like when you start doing tribute, the money gets better. It gets a whole lot better doing tribute shows, especially with like popular bands that people love to go and see that don't tour anymore. Like Red Hot Chili Peppers might come around once every 5 years now, if even that much. Misfits, I don't know if you've been to a Danzig show recently, but it's not what it was 20, 30 years ago. So like to have that young energy pumped into some old classics, it's really fun.
they were old
And then
20
as-
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started in the 70s. Golly.
Sorry.
Start thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a band that it existed 10 years before I was born, and maybe
Right.
like 30 years before these guys. But
Hey, I wasn't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
yeah, he was born after 9/11.
We both were.
That blows my fucking mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny having conversations like this now because I get all excited about talking music and stuff. And it's like when I start having these conversations, it's like I'm back in my 20-something-year-old brain.
Yeah.
I forget that I'm halfway through my 40s. It's like, wait, that was 40 years ago.
Right. And I mean, that's
Yeah.
when I was like, well, shit, it was 20 years ago when I saw Jerry Only at Amos's. And I was like, he was old then. So,
So and I think with Danzig's like was 72.
Yeah.
Oh, he's up there. He's getting
Yeah.
close. He's close to Ozzy's age, I think.
Ooh.
Maybe a little younger.
But the point is like having youth, having young people do these tribute shows. They're really fun shows, and as local musicians that write original music, you start doing this and you start seeing the paychecks get better. Are you even in that headspace yet about like, do I just want to keep doing this? Do you still want to write original? Where's your head at on that?
Me personally, like I did the Mishaps and everything because I just thoroughly enjoy the Misfits, and it's like another outlet to like kind of just pay tribute and just go have fun.
Yeah.
Because like the writing of like original stuff kind of takes on its own being, and like you never stop doing that, and like I really enjoy doing that. It's also like just really nice to be like, oh, okay, like we got to come up with a set list. All right, Last Caress, Mother, and like all these classic songs that you grew up listening to. It's fun to just get out there and just play with
Yeah.
people and get that energy too, because people know those songs, and like if you're a local guy and you just wrote this song 2 weeks ago, they're not gonna know it, sadly, so they
Right.
can't sing with you. But you start singing Last Caress and Where Eagles Dare and stuff like that, they know it. So it's a different vibe, and I think it's just, for me, it's an outlet for fun, just to go have fun.
It
for a
is.
night.
It takes some of that seriousness of it all, like if them being your own stuff versus just doing someone else's and trying to do the best to the ability of that. there's still things involved with as far as like just learning the lyrics, remembering the lyrics, different stuff like, because we try songs that maybe not all of us are familiar with. It's such a vast catalog of all the different bands that Danzig was in. And just it's hard sometimes to even choose, like kind of like pick and choose which ones we do. But each set we try to change up and add 3 or 4 different ones this time. Change the order a little bit. That way we'll keep it fresh every time to where, maybe eventually we will get to someone's favorite song or someone's deep cut, But for now, I mean, we have a pretty good set too now. It's. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I think we're, and it clicked right away too. Like we weren't. I think that was the thing. We weren't. I don't think anyone thought it was gonna go as good as it did. And
he's not wrong. It's true.
Yeah, that first time it was
first
like
practice was rough.
Yeah, it was. It was bad.
We couldn't keep time. We were like, oh my god! But then second practice.
My dad didn't think that it was gonna go well at all.
Yeah, we're just. Yeah, I mean, because we're in Duncan's living room and
which is like.
Yeah, it's the first time, and it's the first time a couple of us had. So now with me, it's the first time I've sang for anything. And then Matt, the bass player, I believe it was the first time he had played in a band too.
In a
and
long time.
Heavy amp that we had to drag up my stairs every practice, and that thing was 200 pounds at least.
At least it was a custom.
But he would always get there before they would, so I was stuck to carry it up with him.
I
love you,
been
Matt,
there
but
and just,
damn.
just watching,
When he
it's
got
like, you guys got this.
Sitting in the parking lot, let's give him a minute.
Yeah, God, when he got rid of that and he got this other amp, God, that was a blessing, dude.
Yeah.
So good. I forget what he got, but he got something. It was
Something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it clicked really well, we did our first so it was the Headbangers Ball here last year, and we just did a surprise performance. Could have found another band for the actual lineup, but this thing was kind of a cool little. Well, we're this far. Let's see if we can, because everything came together pretty quickly. Like in that same night of like we're all in the group text, the name, the set list, kind of essentially. So it fell together really quick, and
No, it was a really cool surprise, right smack in the middle of the Headbangers Ball.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was back here just bobbing, going nuts. I was like, yes.
yeah, we had a few people. It was really cool, to come up and just loved it. That they. It's good to hear that too, especially early on, because you don't know how like it's gonna be, because the only time we had heard ourselves is playing in Duncan's living room, and then all of us just jamming there together, so you just hear a bunch of noise, and yeah, I mean, I think it went pretty well to where we're gonna, I guess, just keep doing it till.
It sounded great. Like when you're doing the tribute thing, that's not the time to cover a song and try to make it your own, right? If you're doing a tribute, you want it to sound like what we hear on the record. So you guys did a really good job of doing that. And I was impressed with you, AJ. You sound great up there. I didn't know you had that in you.
Well, so I'd been singing for a long time growing up. It just, when I mean singing, like just like everyone else does, they sing in the car, the shower. When absolutely no one's home, like they're not going to be home for a long time. And then that's when you can start, pull out the little speaker and stuff like that.
AJ walking around his house, fucking nothing on.
Nothing.
Toughest.
Like she's cleaning his house.
Nothing.
Nothing on but sunglasses.
Just the sunglasses
And socks.
He's dusting the ledges and shit, screaming.
The wig too.
Yeah, we can-
Yes.
See, Twisted Sister or something.
That's it, And I think, it's something. So I did. God, for me, I know my dad remembers, but like I remember being in chorus in like 5th grade, that when they're trying to show you how to sing and you're just kind of going along with it and singing the holiday songs and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I guess since I was always a music lover, so I always wanted to be involved in somehow, into thing. And a couple years ago got to where I'd, a few friends' bands and stuff like that, I'd get up there, kind of break that. I think once you get past that hump of like, you do in front of people or whatever, then you don't that's out of the way, you know. So it's like,
Yeah,
well,
that anxiety you get from getting up there and just shitting the bed, you know.
yeah, and even still, they're like, well, maybe everyone's just being really nice, and I do suck, and but they're just too nice to tell me that, you know. So, but no, everything's been a pretty good reception with that. I have fun doing it. Well, at least when I can, keep like, my breath, I'm not like hyperventilating up there, but
That's why you turn around and face the drummer so you can go.
Oh, at the last Skylark show we did, I started
Next song.
playing when we started playing Last Caress. I started playing so fast. I remember he looked back at me and he was like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm like, oh God, I can't keep up. So I played faster.
Yeah, and it's so it does have, and it has a really, it does have the, I think we get the vibe down pretty well.
But it was like fun
To get
because
AJ in the
everyone
trailer.
was keeping up in the crowd. So it was
Oh,
like-
yeah, having the
was
crowd
really
singing,
even though
having,
he wasn't keeping up, they were keeping up.
I'm
So
looking
it
at
made
their,
it up.
yeah, I'm looking at their lips, and I remember my buddy Jesse Weaver. He's sitting there screaming it out, and I'm looking at like almost what they're saying, and then I'm forgetting about what I'm supposed to be singing.
Just getting lost
Just
in the
watching them
moment.
sing it, like I'm like, you know.
Now that's when you
so
take the mic and do
like,
this.
yeah.
That's what he
Yeah,
did.
just
He
hand
like,
it over.
got him in a huddle and they all
Right?
sung it.
Yeah, because I think the other one was the singer from Collective Insanity, Braden. He's there too, and they're just both screaming in my face, and
There was 3 dudes at one point on stage with AJ just
Yeah.
right there.
yeah, it's such a cool thing because like surprisingly, with Misfits being like an underground band, like there's a lot of people that really dig it, and it was a band that was never on the radio, or they're never. I don't even know when they would have came into like almost a cult type of thing, but I guess
90s.
after Danzig probably.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they had like a resurgence in the '90s, with the whole alternative movement, and then you would like the true punk rockers.
Yeah.
and that's when you started seeing the Misfits shirts everywhere on
Yeah.
people and stuff.
Yeah, because like the only other time was like when Cliff was on stage, he would rep the hell out of them because he had the Misfit shirt, and no one knew who the hell they were.
Well, yeah, and I guess certain bands too. So I mean, like I kind of first became aware of the Misfits. I think it was through Guns N' Roses. They did a song called "Attitude," and that was like my introduction years ago. And maybe not until like my late 20s, 6-7 years ago, to where I really started to kind of dig into it. And I always listened to Danzig, like I knew Mother and all that from like a young age there, but kind of dug it. And believe it or not, the first time I did get up on stage was to sing
Last Caress.
"Last Caress." Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
show.
kind of where it came from, the suggestion of like a Misfits cover band.
How have you been received with other venues? Other venues like excited to get you in and stuff? Have you had trouble getting into venues with it?
So sometimes, there are certain venues that they tend to be originals only, and then there's certain, it's one of those things of like, well, it's not a huge name band, like it's not like we're like we're covering Def Leppard or Van Halen or GNR or something, but not too bad. I think that it's still fairly new, so I think we eventually will get our way around the Carolinas. Maybe a beach trip or something like that. But for the most part, yeah. I mean if anything, they just kind of want to hear like, let's hear what it sounds like first. So if you got like a small like video or something like that to give us an idea, I guess, to make sure that we don't suck. But yeah. Besides that, no, I don't. I think this is our third time.
Third.
So we're still very new at what we're doing. A little bit more practice than the first time, but we're still pretty raw.
I've still got just like a little bit of naivety, when it comes to booking shows. I'm willing to take risks. That's something that I am still doing that I don't see a lot of other venues doing. Like there's a handful of people that when they reach out to me for a day, the answer is pretty much always yes, if it's available. You're one of those people, and everyone knows who the others are. And because I trust that I know where your heart's at with this. I know that you want every show to be as good as I do. I know you're not going to bring me a shit show like some people have done. Again,
Don't say his name.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to worry
I
about
won't say
it.
anything about playing drums outside of Walmart. But the point that I'm making is I'm willing to take risks because without a place to showcase, without a place to do this, how are you supposed to get better? How are you supposed to tighten up the set? How are you supposed to know what people or how people react to what you're putting out there? So I'm still willing to do that. Hopefully, eventually, it all pays off. But that's why I ask about other venues. I know there's some venues I've heard that are just hard to get into, and then just this week you're seeing drama on social media, certain shows and stuff, and it's like, man, it makes me wonder how long can we do this and not get targeted, like that. Like it makes me nervous. Like, if you can do this to someone who's been in the business for almost 30 years, like what is it the thing that I'm going to say that's going to piss somebody off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think some of it's just like it's nice to see how someone be willing to take risks because it's like some venues don't, and it sucks for like the local scene because it's hard to just play the same venues like over and over again, but to have something that, God, you opened in what? Not 21. It was a 22.
Yeah, it's been a little over a year and a half.
Yeah, so it was like I remember hearing the hype about it, this place when it opened, and then it did open, and the first time I played it, it was like, oh my God, it's nice, and you felt loved and welcome.
Were you on that first show?
I don't think I was on the
Headbangers
first
Ball?
one. No, not the first one here. No, I was out of town that weekend. I think like that because that was 2023.
20. Yeah.
Because the rest of the guys came down.
Okay.
But I wasn't here. And it's nice to have someone be willing to take risks, like even just on local guys, just to give them a shot, because it's like you said, where else are you gonna go? Like you play a house show, and like you and your mom are gonna show up, and it's like that's cool. But at that point, it's a glorified rehearsal. It's nice to be able to come out and be in a live setting.
That too, and with the original stuff, it's a lot of my friends are in, metal bands, rock bands, and it's mostly all original sets. And the thing is like now, it's a lot of those bands, like you couldn't take maybe a certain band and put them at like this bar and then expect the bar crowd to just, and to have like, the venue and a place for it is very special. And I think that's why probably about every show we do, we're probably going to have at least, 2 or 3 different locals with us. Maybe we play with a different tribute or something here or there, but I think for the most part, it's kind of cool because we'll find stuff that's, at least in our opinion, is good. But, if you like this, you're probably going to like this.
Well, what I
Or
really
you might
appreciate
like
about
this.
your shows or any Carolina Headbangers show we do, I don't know if you mean to do this or not, but you always bring in at least one, usually more than one band that's from a couple or a few hours away.
Yeah.
Like you're bringing regional acts into just about every Headbanger show that we do. And I'm grateful for that because, yes, I built this place for this local scene, but for us to be more of a regional hub, that wasn't my plan, but I'm grateful because without the people that live 2 and 3 hours away coming to shows, we wouldn't be here still. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we're actually getting more support from outside of this town than we are inside the town. And a lot of that's due to we're one of the only places giving these opportunities to bands. I get a lot of emails from Virginia bands. Like if
And it's scarce. Like I think here in the Carolina, like we're very, pretty fortunate as far as like just as far as the like venues throughout like different cities like Carborough, and then you got High Point and Greensboro and at least the ones that will like kind of like open it up to the locals and stuff like that, to where I tell people, I'm like, you might find one of your favorite bands, you might find a new band that you love. It's finding music's hard these days. There's so many different. It's weird because you have a million platforms for it, but at the same time, like I think back in the day, like if it was on MTV, a good bit of people liked it, to where now it's like, you got iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and it's just different. It's harder to find. I think.
Well, it's harder to get recognized on a major level now too. First of all, we've got a lot more people, right? So that means a lot more people are doing the thing, and then you've got all these other platforms. And whereas kind of bigger, like big conglomerate radio stations, and MTV pretty much told you what was good. You know, it was like that's what you had. You had to really work to like find good local shit. And there's always been local scenes everywhere. You know, some better than others. You know, Seattle had such a great local scene. They blew up nationally and invented grunge. You know, like that's nothing to sneeze at. You know, I mean, that's a big deal what they did. Yeah, but it's hard to do that now because there's so many different ways to consume it. There's no continuity, so everyone's got their own personal algorithm, right? So like when I see a new band that's started in the last 5 years, and they've got millions of followers on Spotify, I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? And the answer to that is to be undeniable, right? Some of these bands, whether you like them or not, whatever they're doing, whether it's their social media, their YouTube, their live performances, they're working just a little bit harder than everybody else to be undeniable and stand out. And that's how it's done now. You know, like there is no more manufacturing, you know, success. Like you have to work harder than everybody else to get there.
Well, that's it, you know, and even the bands that I think are on bigger labels these days, like it's very much become like a touring, like you're touring. I think, and that's the best way to get music to people is to do it live. You're standing right in front of them, you know, just blasting away. And but it is different though, you know, to find stuff these days. It's harder, but I also think at the same time you're open to a lot more things and a lot more. I know there's plenty of bands, you know, since at least with the Headbangers thing, you know, and not just that in our scene. Like I think we're just fortunate to have bands, you know, as many good bands as we do, you know. But
we are very fortunate in this. Let me stop you right there and acknowledge what you just said. It's so true, man. That's so true. Like there's not a lot of places in America right now where you've got this many bands just fucking killing it, man. Yeah,
that's it. And I think people like to come. Everyone that come play here, they love to come to this area because of how well it's received, and to where they could be from Virginia or Pennsylvania and then come down here and then say, well, man, it's so much different down here. You know,
there's one, and I'm not going to say who the band is, and you could probably.
Oh, I'm probably going to guess.
Is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
We'll see.
There's a big band around like Charlotte area that's blowing up right now. And
the Mishaps?
I wish.
Oh, okay. It's like, this is a good lead into it.
They keep, they started probably 2021, and it's all started, on Instagram and TikTok and all that, but not playing live or anything.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were still gaining followers and all that way. So then they started playing live, but they would have, sold-out crowds, started at neighborhood theater and things like that. And it's so it just doesn't make sense.
So you are right about that, yeah. So where bands can they can almost build a following before they even play live now. So where say they start up, they learn X amount of songs, and then
especially going to so many local shows in the past year, you've got bands that have been playing these venues, Milestone, Skylark, for 20, 30 years, and then you got 17, 18-year-olds whose parents got money, and
well, look, that's never going to go away.
yeah,
Sadly,
right.
No.
Like I said just a minute ago, the days of manufacturing success are over. Because if it's the same band if you're talking about the same band I'm thinking of, they're now realizing today that it's not as easy as they thought it was.
Yeah.
If it's the same band that you're talking about, and we'll talk about it after the show. Or whatever. 'Cause I don't want to shit on anybody, anybody putting in work. But if who I'm thinking is who you're talking about. Yes, there is a circle around those people that have connections and money, but still doesn't equal success. Because from my knowledge of what they're doing, they're struggling, to make any money. See, that's the thing about social media, man. Being popular on social media doesn't translate to money. You got to get out there and tour. That's why YouTubers are now playing, the Fillmore and shit now. I took my daughter.
That's the weirdest shit.
I swear to God, I'm going to sound like an old man right now. And I don't really give a fuck because I took my daughter to see this YouTuber at the Underground. And this guy's super popular. I mean, that room was just full of preteens. 12, 13, 14-year-old kids going ape shit. And the guy's up there doing, skits. It looks like sketch comedy. He's got,
Yep.
like those noodle like sword fights he's doing. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? But the kids loved it. They were going crazy. He's got all these little catchphrases and sayings. He's got a friend that wrestles, and he comes out and does. And it's just to me, it looks like it's just a total shit show. I'm like, I would never put this on my stage.
New Age
but
Church
these
of the
kids
Carrot
loved it. And meanwhile, I'm looking to my left and right, and there's just this huge row of people my age that are, brought their kids.
Like,
Well, so we're all the cool parents, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
we're letting our kids enjoy this. But I'm just sitting there thinking, man, is this entertainment now? I don't want to shit on the guy because he's out there touring, but it just goes to show, just being big on YouTube doesn't really mean shit. Like, you still got to get out there and work.
Yeah.
And
there's definitely smaller bands nationally
well,
and locally that are
and sometimes
like, so
that-
good and deserve so much more credit than they get, sadly. And I hope they get it at someday.
I do agree with that. So there's like
'Cause,
bands that are really good. And
like-
they just don't have the social media. Like
no,
they just don't have that
they don't
presence.
have the presence
They
or
don't-
whatever.
it's so frustrating too when
You know.
there's a handful of really, really great bands that have played this stage that just
Yes.
don't promote.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
And like I can remember like seeing some of those bands for the first time and like how they blew me away, and I was like, holy fuck! Like I'm putting you in like every playlist I got, and I still listen to them. And I'm friends with most of the local guys here. Like to this day, they're still cool, and it's nice to kind of be able to sit down and have a conversation with them too, like as a human, because then you can do somewhat what we're doing. We pick each other's brains and just have fun with it. And it's that they're so talented, and that's at least with going to shows, like how you say, and like watching stuff and being not necessarily being confused, but that's the thing that I've looked more towards now than when I started going to concerts, if that makes any sense. Like bands that blow me away live, it's so much.
You made me a
It's-
fan for life.
Yeah, it's
When you do
all
that.
inspiring. Yeah, there was not a local band, but
There's
it was
a lot
touring
of there's a
band.
lot of bands that I think I looked at almost differently when I saw them live. Like after I did,
Yeah.
I think Korn was one of them. Korn was a
Oh,
band
yeah.
that growing up I just. I was remember I was still listening to stuff like Van Halen, and you had bands like Korn and Slipknot and stuff, which I love now, but I think I was just a little too young for it at the time. They looked like a bunch of dirty humans and scared the shit out of me.
Well, when
But
Korn first come out, it was groundbreaking what they were
Oh
doing.
my god.
Because I was a teenager. I was in high school when Korn came around.
Yeah.
And when you'd never heard anything like that before in your life,
No,
man.
never.
Like Korn and 311 were two bands that came out in the early '90s. That was like, what is this? It
Didn't
was
sound
just so
anything
different.
like anything else that was
Yeah,
playing.
and I did like Korn back then, but I didn't love Korn back then until I saw them live, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah.
It's so different when you see that live.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's on the other side of that coin, there's been bands I was super excited to see, and then you go, you bought all the albums, you buy the ticket, you go see them, you're like,
You're like,
what? Is
ugh.
this?
oh man.
You get disappointed.
There's one of those I've seen them twice. I was like, maybe it was just this first one.
Well, and so here's the thing with the local scene, or even with what we do, but I guess the bigger the bands, sometimes like more of the newer bands and stuff like that tend to use a lot of tracks, a lot of backing tracks and vocal tracks.
Yeah.
Now you are
and-
starting to sound like Danzig.
He did go around about this.
So he
Sebastian
did.
Bach.
He did go. Yeah. So I was at Blue Ridge and I saw
You were there
Danzig.
for that speech he gave.
Yeah, and he was talking about I think Motionless in White, but and he wasn't wrong either. But it's just the thing of like he's like, we're doing this live, and we're 100% real, and they give us an hour, and they gave these guys an hour and a half, but. So he wasn't too happy that day. And it's wild. So even when that was happening last September, I think, I had no idea that this was going to be happening. And then a month later, I would have had no idea. I was like, I was just there as a fan seeing Danzig. So it was kind of a cool surprise, But yeah, the thing with the logo, it's 100% real. The mess ups, you get all the off-key stuff.
The sweat, the grit.
The super fast tempos and
Yeah. No, I see. We were kind of having a little bit of this conversation with the boys in Ancre, and CJ made a really good point about. Yeah, they are.
they
They're
are.
great kids. But CJ made a great point in that conversation about how, like, in order for metal to keep evolving and like stay relevant, you have to evolve the art and like start
Oh, yeah.
adding different elements to it. Like you can't do the Misfits now as a new band. You can't.
No.
You can't put that music out and expect anyone to listen.
No, it's
You
not
know?
going to be as popular. And there are national bands that do that insanely well. And like this is going to sound really weird. The one that comes to mind is I went to see AJ was at that show. It was Dark Funeral.
Yeah.
They came and Dark Funeral was one of my favorite bands, but they had a band open up for them and I didn't know, and they were called Black Parade. And they come out.
They're good.
They're so good, and they're really nice guys. I met them after the show, but they're all Native American, and they come out to a war chant.
Oh, yes.
And they come out and they're in war paint and like all like the traditional like dress, and then they have bullet belts and jeans on too, which is awesome, and like war paint, and they play just this brutal black metal, and just blew me out of the water, and I'm like. It was like you said, like I saw that and I'm like, oh, I'm hooked. You got me
Yeah,
for life. I
that
got your
sounds
vinyls
amazing.
and everything now. Oh my God. Seriously. It's
Yeah,
so
I kind
good.
of have something like that. I went to go see Mayhem when they were at the Underground in 2022.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
2.
And I mean, I was just going to see him because I had just watched Lords of Chaos. So that's the only reason I was going to see him. But so we went to go see them, and I mean, I was excited, but I didn't know anything about black metal or anything like that at that point. And then Midnight opened up,
They're
and
great too.
that was the
That's
best
another-
band.
yeah.
Like Mayhem was all right. They were cool. But Midnight, they should have headlined that.
Well,
that was the
Midnight's
best
so good.
band.
That and it's cool. You
And
know,
they're small too. Like
Yeah.
they could play probably Snug Harbor area. Like they could play here.
I do love it
They
when
might.
a smaller band just blows away who they're opening for. You're like, damn.
Oh,
And it's
so
like
cool.
they all wore masks and leather jackets, and no one knows who they are. And it's like, oh god, it's so cool.
Yeah, unless you're like in that scene, it's hard to get it. It's like bands like Midnight and Gadia and Vatane, like such good black metal bands. And like even it bleeds into other genres too, like in like the rock
And
scene.
Midnight
Like
was just with Danzig too.
yeah.
yeah, Midnight was out there
Yeah.
too. And they were with Behemoth.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Behemoth's it's like even like going into the rock scene. I remember when Bad Flower hit the scene,
yeah.
and like another band blew me out of the water seeing them live. Had no idea who
I
they
met
were,
those
but-
guys back then.
Yeah,
back
but
in
like
the day. Then.
Josh and all those guys in Bad Flower,
Great
like
dudes.
phenomenal musicians and doing something new with it. It's not just your same cookie cutter, like stuff that came out of the. Some of the bands from the 80s, and I still love all those bands, but it's not the same as that. It's something, it's got an edge to it, and it's it's cool. It's great to see.
Well,
I
that's-
love it.
And with what we do too, I think it's really cool because like there's some pretty explicit themes and lyrics and stuff to it that just would not.
Well, while we're on the subject of black metal, we got a band coming up at the end of the month called Angel Massacre.
Oh,
these guys?
Mathis and the boys.
Yeah, Mathis.
Love them.
So those, I mean, I don't listen to a whole lot of black metal.
They do it good
But
though.
my God,
They
those
are
guys
amazing.
are so good. They are
So
so
tight.
And dude, their music is the type of shit that like my parents and like my parents' generation was talking about in the '80s when they was burning up records and shit.
Yeah.
That's some evil
That's
shit, man. But man, is it fun to watch, dude? They are so fucking good.
They're
And
locked
they
in.
bring it.
They
are.
bring the
And
heat.
they've got the stage set up. What's
They
it,
create
the
a whole
Bible,
ambiance.
the ripping pages off the Bible and stuff like that. You know, they actually, I remember last year they played a festival in was it Brown Mountain?
Oh,
Was it Morganton?
yeah, that was the one in Morganton where we were at.
And
Yeah.
there was something about was it like a dead goat?
Oh yeah, there was a rumor started. So what really sucked for them that night is they got cut short because
the
of
cops
like
showed up. Yeah.
like the promoter I think took too long on like there was a costume contest and then they got cut short like after 3 songs.
Oh no!
But then like around Morganton and like I knew it happened at
like, let 'em play.
my girlfriend's
Let 'em
work
play.
because someone like came up and they're like it was so like unsanctimonious, I forget, or like not holy because like they decapitated a goat on stage and we were like no they didn't. And I was like
No. You
this is
just
like,
let it ride out because that helps them.
well, it did, but it was like so like I couldn't even you couldn't even hide it because like they could have gone on stage. I'm like, where was I? Because that would have been awesome. Like, what the hell?
That's
Like, I wish I would have saw that.
And it's like one of those things like with like say like back in the day when Ozzy bit the head off a bat,
Right.
and then you'd go to the concert expecting to see something like that. And
Yeah.
even though he didn't do it, it happened once or twice or something, but.
Imagine being so jacked on coke, and bite the head off a bat. That is, I mean, I've been really fucked up before. I've never.
That's a
been
whole
that
new
fucked
level.
up.
Yeah, I read
Never.
where he had, I think, like 62 different shots they had to give him because he had, I guess rabies prevention
Yeah.
and different things
Yeah.
like that and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I think maybe the rabies may have stayed in the system a little bit there
what
through the
kept him
80s.
going.
Yeah.
Is that what's wrong with him?
It's the rabies, yeah.
I don't
That's
even know
probably
if it's
what
what's wrong
keeps
with
him
him at this
alive.
point.
Probably infected the bat. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
that too.
Yeah, I mean,
The amount of
yeah.
drugs in his system.
Or not wrong with him, but preserved him.
Oh yeah.
Rabies preserves.
And
So it was a bat and then he did a dove.
yeah, it was that and a dove, and like all these things that starts like.
I wonder
building
which
up.
one's tastier.
I think you'd have to ask him. I don't know.
I think the dove would be.
I feel like a dove would be maybe a
Yeah, I
little
think the
better.
bat would be kind of tender, like
Yeah, that'd
almost like
be-
a little too
and they're
maybe
fuzzy,
gamey,
too.
you know.
They're fuzzy, and it's you hear all this stuff, and it gets more and more.
And
like,
he did that at a
built
record.
up.
He that's when he was about
The
to,
fact
they're
that
about
they
to
are
sign him for
continually
a record label.
discussing the fact which one would be more tasty.
Wow, that's
That's
got
an
dark
interesting
fast.
conversation. What's
Well, we play
tastier,
the
dove or
Misfits,
bat?
like yeah,
Well, that's
like,
it, you
we play
have-
the Misfits. We're talking about
Yeah, we
ripping
got
the
like
heads off
20
little
different
girls and
sauce
putting them on
choices.
poles.
It's
Like,
Yeah, it's like there would
starting
maybe
to sound like a death clock show.
like this would go good with a nice Heinz 57.
Oh yeah, like sautéed. Some onions.
Yeah,
I'm an
you know,
A1
like,
man
how would we
myself.
season
Oh,
it?
that's
Yeah,
I like to take A1 and dip fries in it. It's really good.
Oh, that is
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah.
My buddy
little
one time,
secret for all you out there. Take your french fries, dip them in A1 sauce. It'll change your life.
my friend one time put A1 on his popcorn and then he gave it to me, and it was the sodium content was insane.
Yeah, I can-
but it was
yeah.
actually really good. So like I couldn't knock him. For
I'd try it. I'd,
All right, so since we're on the subject of food, you're like, let's say the Mishaps. You start hypothetically. You
can't do
guys blow up and you're touring nationally.
like
What's in
Danzig.
your rider? What is it you got to have in your green room?
Oh, like for
Pizza.
food?
Yeah, what's in your rider if you
Pizza.
go national?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Za
All
is
day.
good. Yeah, I mean,
We have a
If
rider?
I can have, I love
We have
pops.
a
So like
rider?
Coke is my thing. If I could have some Coke and a little bit of Jack.
Coca-Cola, by the way. Not-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Yeah, no.
So Coca-Cola for you, pizza for
Yeah.
you. AJ, what's in your rider?
Ooh, I think I could. Oh man, I don't want to say pizza too, but
no brown M&Ms.
This man.
Yeah, I mean, if we could we put whatever we want in the rider?
This
food.
was-
Anything
Yeah,
food
it's
wise.
pretty
Total
basic.
hypothetical. Like,
It's pretty basic.
It was just probably just honestly, I'm just good as long as I have water.
Water's good.
Water and cigarettes. If I can put Marlboro Red 72s.
Pack of Marlboro Reds.
Yeah. So next time we play here, just a couple
No.
packs of Marlboro Red
Pack of Marlboro
72s
Reds
in
in
the
the
back
green
for
room?
me.
Nope. Absolutely not. I was about to say, don't expect this in the green room on June 1st at all.
I was gonna say, remind me. I'll try to make it happen.
Okay, we'll do it. I don't care.
We'll bring like a whole carton and we'll line the walls
See if
for
I'll
AJ.
try to make it happen.
I'll make a little sign that says Mishaps only.
It's Coke, pizza, and cigarettes.
I can
Oh
just
wait,
see.
you said Coke pizza, okay? Because my brain went
Coca-Cola.
No, goat pizza.
Oh, goat,
And you
no.
were just talking about goat, so I was like, okay, brain, chill.
How shitty would it be if we did that, and then like the rest of the bands are back there in the green room just watching them eat pizza? It's
Now,
just so
I know
good.
a couple of the guys at Midnight Massacre will be like, "Fuck this shit," and just
Yeah.
Steven and them.
Yes.
Yeah. They're cool. I'll be like, all right,
Right.
you have peace, Steven. It's okay.
You're definitely working, right?
yeah,
Working the green-
yeah. I'm definitely working.
Right on. All right, let's wrap it up. You got any other dates on the books already,
Anything in stone.
or you can't
Not
talk
anything.
about it yet? Or
We're still planning some out, I guess with the summertime, different schedules and stuff like that.
I hope you guys can get to the beach this summer, man. That'd
That
be
would
a
be
fun
fun.
weekend trip. Maybe
So-
try to line up 2 gigs,
So-
like a Friday and a Saturday.
And here's the cool thing too. I realized there's a place in Wilmington called Where Eagles Dare, and I was like, well, if the Misfits don't play that one or the Mishaps don't play that, and then there's another place in Asheville called Static Age Records. So we're gonna try. We're gonna try for a few different venues. I think I'm working on something maybe in Winston Salem, maybe.
Okay.
Just waiting on Andra. Hurry up! No, I was playing. But no, so we would like to do it. Yeah, I mean, I really could see us, at least doing at least 2 or 3 more shows this year. We don't want to oversaturate it at all either, and still keep it fresh. But yeah, we just want to get out to all the places that.
They want to see you.
Well, that they want to see us, or that we just want to play. Just to say like, we played this venue and we did this and stuff like that. And you can also, that in turn, when we come back around next year or something like that, then we got we'll start to have those people kind of like hopefully travel to see us. But Yeah, I think we got a few things like that, you know. And the things I think
Right
now
on.
we're just trying to get the set and our bass player down, you know.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you'd like to see a Misfits tribute in your town, talk to your local venue owner. Whoever does shows in your town, reach out to the Mishaps. You can reach out to AJ through Carolina Headbangers on
We will play
Facebook.
Virginia.
Facebook, Instagram.
We'll get there.
Okay. Nah,
Yeah, from what I've heard, Virginia's just tough. There's just not a lot of places to play up there, is what the Virginia bands have told me.
yeah, I just imagine mountains and valleys and Dollar Generals.
It's a beautiful drive.
Oh,
It's a
it's a
beautiful
great
drive
drive.
up through 87,
is.
man.
It's amazing.
Virginia is gorgeous.
Right now, today would probably be one of those days,
Yeah,
you know.
it's
That's why it took me so long. I was going down the highway going 35 miles an hour, just admiring everything and how shiny and beautiful it is.
Yeah, this is the best time of year, man. I do like to get out and drive, just look around. That's what I love about living out in the mountain, man. Just the scenery.
Did y'all see the Northern Lights last night?
No.
No, I was here.
It's supposed to be better throughout this week.
So
I hope so.
I caught a picture of it and it looked great, and I was like, well, let me get in the car, and I drove. So I'm in like the Charlotte area. I drove probably like 30 minutes down towards Albemarle just because like I went online and I like, where's the best point to see the stars around Charlotte? And someone said like drive like 30 minutes from Charlotte.
Yeah.
So I get down there and there's, of course, it's just like trees and stuff. I'm like, I was like, I can't keep going. I found myself in Albemarle. I'm like 30 minutes from the house, but
Well, there's just so much light pollution from from a city like that, and it's
We even had light pollution here because I went from the front to the back last night going, where?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking more people like towards like just farther down, maybe Shelby or something like
Yeah,
that.
you gotta
Starting to
go
see
west.
Hendersonville
Yeah.
or something
Shelby's
like that.
good north and towards Hickory.
A
is
place
good,
in
too.
Albemarle you need to go to Mar Mountain State Park to get complete total darkness
Ooh.
to see stars really well. I can tell you a place after the show.
I probably was close enough to that last night, but
Probably.
so when the thing is, they're like, yeah, you'll see a field and it's pitch black. So I'm like, everything looks the same out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
because you're out in a damn country.
yeah, and I'm like, I still like, I can't see anything now. I'm just like, all right, I'll just turn around and go home. But
then you realize you're still wearing your sunglasses.
oh yeah,
That's why you couldn't see shit.
nothing. Northern Lights, huh?
Somebody put on Facebook last night. Drop your pictures of Northern Lights here is in one of these like town group Facebook groups, and I went and downloaded a picture of the Northern Lights suite and put it on there.
I had some good pictures too. I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't know. I would never take someone's photos and be like, but it was way better than mine. Like I remember mine was just like, yeah, it's kind of cool, I guess. Everyone else got like green and blue and purple and magenta. And
On the ride home, there was a couple of dark spots, and I was like, at that point, I was convinced. I was like, this is fucking fake. They're all doing it in an app on their phone. I was like, because I was doing tan lights.
so, and someone told me that too last night. They said, listen, if you look at it and if you like have your flash on your camera and take a picture of it, it brings it out. I didn't even know that as
Well,
a
they're
photographer.
doing the same thing. You know this. You know anything about the James Webb?
Yeah.
Okay, the big space telescope they put out there. So I'm following it, or at least I think I'm following it on social. But I keep seeing these pictures, and I'm like, this is clearly not the real picture. So what they're doing is they're getting these images from like way deep in space, and they're having either AI or artists like make a rendition of it to like make it look sharper and clearer.
Yeah.
And it's like, this isn't what we're seeing.
It's not real.
This isn't real. I want to see the real thing. It's like, where do you find it?
There's a couple of good spots. I've seen a couple of the pictures when it first launched, and it was so cool. And I'm a huge space nerd. So
I mean,
was
yeah,
like,
me
it's
too, man. It's so cool. But then like you start to follow these pages, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's really hard to differentiate like what's real and what's not, because
Yeah.
some of them are so gorgeous. I'm like, there's no fucking way this is the actual output they're getting from this thing.
Yeah.
But it is cool to see, it's cool to imagine, yeah, AI is going to be the death of all of us, dude. I'm telling you, dude. It's Skynet. This is what's
It can
happening.
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to warn us,
Hey, I mean, AI got me those 3 extra blueberry bow rounds.
did.
so-
They did get you
Oh,
straight
what's that
forward.
about?
Still got some
Brought it
time.
right back to the very
Pull it
beginning.
back.
We were gonna end it, but what was that about?
Oh, yeah, he wasn't here for
He wasn't.
that.
Oh.
Tell your AI story, then we'll get out of here.
So I went to Bojangles the other morning, and most of the speakers are AI for Bojangles now. So I got 1 blueberry bow round, so I pull around, and only charged for 1. The guy gives me 4, and I was like, yes, yes.
I mean, what better way to start your day?
Oh my
That
god.
is. That's like an onion ring in the
It was
French
great.
fries. You know, it's like thank you for that.
That's the best thing ever.
So, I guess there are some positives. That'll be the real why AI is a good thing. Got 4 Bowberry biscuits.
Yeah, take it. Well, so it's in photography. You know, there's a lot. You know, I've seen a lot recently, and I know we got to end this soon, but it's like where they can take. They're doing like with old artists, like so. I think it was Randy Travis or something the other day, but he has a song and he can't. I guess he has the like he's. I don't
He
know,
had
like,
a stroke.
He had a stroke, right?
Yeah, he had a major
So somehow
stroke.
they recreated it. Like they bring in a singer, but then they bring his old tracks. They add all that together.
They
and
just put his files of his voice in there, and AI creates his voice singing a new song.
That's it. I think it makes it
So
fills it out. You know.
I'll dig a little bit deeper on this for myself. So I never want to be like the old curmudgeon, right? I never want to be that. Like I said it a couple weeks ago. Like I'm still enjoying new shit that's coming out and stuff, but AI is kind of where I'm drawing the line. I just don't like what I'm seeing come of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
issues
with it.
There's endless possibilities. I get it, but at some point, you're basically bringing consciousness into technology, and we can't even figure it out as humans, like how to get along with each other. Like, how long before a machine that's based on mathematic computations decides that we're irrelevant? There's already, Elon Musk is Elon Musk is already
I
working
like
on
you.
Neuralink, right? Where they can put a chip in your
Please
brain.
don't kill me.
And that's the first step in bringing about cyborgs. And there's a lot of scary things about it. There's a lot of amazing things about it. But I just for me, I love the human experience. I enjoy having these conversations with people, getting to know people, enjoying each other's company, enjoying art. And the more advanced technology gets, the more disconnected people get with each other.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the technology and the machines are turning us into cold, unfeeling machines ourselves.
It's like it's becoming
Social
one
media
thing.
does
Yeah,
that
and
too, real
I
bad.
I don't ever want to lose the social aspect of the human experience, right? Like this my whole life is centered around people getting together.
Right.
So for me, it's that's kind of where I struggle with enjoying or buying into the whole AI experience. It's like it's kind of fucking things up for all of us.
Yeah, there'll be a fork in the road, and there's gonna be a good path and a bad path. Whichever
yeah.
path you
As-
go down,
Yeah.
that's yet
As
to
crazy
be
as it
seen,
is,
but-
I just watched the Megan movie a few weeks ago, and it's crazy to see because I feel like somewhere in the world that could truly happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's your phone stereo will talk to you every once in a while just randomly, and it's like
Oh, yeah,
that's
that
weird.
bitch, she always calls me.
That's scary.
She comes up, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah,
But-
talking to you.
How aware this
It's
stuff
like,
is,
you want
and
this?
it's
And some of this
self-driving cars.
technology stuff, it's scary.
That's okay. When it decides to take over, I can live primitively. Bring
Well,
it.
I mean, and this could just be like confirmation bias for myself, but when you meet people that are like so into their phones and stuff, they're not interesting people. Like when what I'm saying, they're not. I'm not saying they're shitty people. They're just
No.
not interesting. Like I don't have anything to say to them. You can't carry on a conversation with somebody when they're constantly, doing this. Oh, I gotta check my this. Oh, I'm ordering all my food online. I'm doing everything.
I've
on
done
my
good
phone.
for the
It's
last
like-
45 minutes. I have not touched my phone.
Yeah.
I have not-
Yeah,
no, but I
mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of just
Well,
doom scrolling and shit.
Everyone is.
It
It's a
definitely
different-
has changed how like conversations and how like interactions happen. It's where like you're at a restaurant now, and it used to be like that was your time with your significant other or your family, and now everyone's got a phone out. Everyone is
I mean,
guilty
it's-
of it to an
See,
extent.
my wife and I are kind of we kind
very
of have
much
like an agreement
no
of when we
phone,
go out to eat to just kind of put the phones up. If we pull our phones out, it's be like, oh, did I show you this or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I try
Yeah.
not to.
Or if it's
pull it
taking
out.
too long, me and my kid are on Snapchat using the filters, or turn it towards Timmy, making him look really goofy, and that brings us joy. So
yeah, because
It's like getting to the point now where I'm waiting for those drones just to show up with DoorDash orders and stuff like that.
We're
Like
trying that out in some
They were
spots.
supposed to be
Take
doing
my
it with
job.
Amazon. Amazon was supposed to have drone delivery, and I think they still do in like bigger cities.
Yeah.
Again, technology's amazing, man. It's,
So- it's cool.
like I just watched that Cat Williams special on Netflix, and at the end of the special, he makes a fantastic point about how this is the best life has ever been for anybody on earth, period.
Yeah.
Like, life's never
I
been
saw
better.
that part, yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes into like talking like to racist people, like not understanding racism. Like, get over it. There's rich black people now. There's rich everybody now. Like just get over it. That's how it is now. And I agree with him. Yes, it's different. Life's different now. But it is. Our lives are so much better than if we 3 generations ago you would have been fighting in World War II at your age right now. You'd be storming the beaches of Normandy right now.
Be in the draft,
but because life has gotten so good because of technology, you're able to be in a band and entertain people and have fun. And so like, it's hard to shit on the thing that's making our life better, but where's that fork that you said, that fork in the road? When's that going to happen? Hopefully after my lifetime.
Yeah,
That's it. And I think it's really, I guess, more so just how interaction has changed since that. But as far as other things, like, there's, I mean, even with what I do with promoting, or even with, like, we're promoting the band, stuff like that, we're able to get to people that we would have never been able to get to 20 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
Like, had to call them up on the phone or whatever.
Yeah,
after 9 or
after 9, God. Well, after 9, usually you get unlimited text. At least.
You text 2 texts or whatever.
Yeah, and now I can send 1,000.
And then the bill goes up $38, and your mom and dad's pissed.
Yeah, I can check my bank account on my phone and like make transfers like that, and instead of going to an ATM and dealing with tellers and stuff like that. It's
You people.
Yeah, like some people you just don't want to deal with, and like it. And the thing with AI, it's like, some of it has done a lot of like good things and like helped a lot of things, but it's not good when it starts taking jobs from people, and that's, I think, where it comes in to be like, reach out to the small guys more, the small artists, like the actual artists, the graphic designers out
support
there
local.
that can draw these beautiful like even like music album covers, like they're so good. And like
never mind Facebook Marketplace, Misfit Market.
There's coming out and seeing like the handmade stuff and stuff like that. That's where
It's the handmade weird stuff.
but that's the best stuff,
Right?
Like, so
Well, it's just like everything in life. Like, there's some good and there's some bad to it. You know,
Absolutely.
my hope is that we, that good will win. You know, and I just want people to stay connected, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get away from the human experience. You know, and I say all that, and then all it takes is like one thing you said that makes someone uncomfortable, and then now you're the target of everyone's vitriol. You know, it's putting yourself out there comes with some risks. You know, and
it does, and
then especially with now that we're so connected, someone in Wisconsin can shit on my venue. You know what I mean? Just because they heard something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just like
Just because
everything.
you said bitches one too many times.
I do say bitches a lot, and I mean no disrespect by it. Like,
I'm not
I really
offended
don't.
by it.
Yeah, I mean no disrespect. When I say like bitches is crazy or something, I'm just
Because bitches be crazy.
yeah, bitches is crazy. Yeah. But anyway,
I will say
we're going on. See, and this is exactly where I get in trouble if someone comes after us online and says fuck the Rooster. But don't fuck the Rooster. Be here on Saturday, June 1st, and see the Mishaps. We got Midnight Massacre, got the White Horse, and we got Emporia. This is going to be a fantastic show.
Yeah, come here. No AI, AI, just good times and lots of alcohol.
Yep.
And,
Put your phone in your pocket, pull it out and take a picture or a video.
take all the videos and stuff.
Take
you
some
want.
video. They
The
need
good-
some
the good
content.
shots, the good angles.
some good old horror punk with the correct Misfits and old Glenn.
You cannot take any photos of if I'm like this or whatever on stage. I'm like, wait till I look cool, okay?
We got enough of him flipping his wig back, so don't do those.
It's such a good thing that that's.
All right, guys, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having us.
Thank
Yep.
you.
All right, come out here Saturday, June 1st, hang out, get tickets in advance and save a few bucks. Peace and love.